Hello and welcome to Bags of Action. My name is Pete and this is a 5-minute Bags of Action review of Kickboxer Vengeance from 2016. Essentially, this is a remake of the original Kickboxer movie from 1989, which is a film that's very dear to my heart. I've seen Kickboxer many times and also own a copy of the soundtrack. That and Bloodsport were continual watches for me in my teenage years. And as much as I don't like reboots generally, I was fascinated to see how this played out being made today. This time, Kurt Sloane, the main character, is played by stuntman Alain Moussi, who's done stunts in things like Arrow and American Gods. He was Hugh Jackman's stunt double in X-Men Apocalypse, and he also appeared uncredited as Batman in the Titans TV series recently. Tong Po is played by Dave Bautista from WWE, Guardians of the Galaxy and Spectre, and the original actor Michel Kisi, who played Tong Po, also has a brief cameo in the film. If you know the original story, much here is similar. Kickboxer Eric Sloane fights Tong Po in the original, and his younger brother Kurt trains in Muay Thai with a stranger, Xian Chow, to defeat the man who paralysed his brother. In this version, Kickboxer Eric Sloane fights Tong Po, and his younger brother Kurt Sloane trains in Muay Thai with Master Durand, who isn't a stranger. He actually trained his older brother, and he has to defeat the man who killed his brother. So the two key changes: Master Durand isn't a stranger, and he's actually played by Jean-Claude Van Damme himself. He's someone that they know. And rather than Eric being in hospital, being in a wheelchair, he's actually been killed in this film. So in some ways, Kickboxer Vengeance, the stakes are higher, and the overall tone is darker, which I guess suits the modern times. But at times, it does feel a bit like a mishmash. In some scenes, you really wish they were much more faithful to the original, and in others, you wish they hadn't been connected at all, because they're kind of halfway, trying to make it the same, but at the same time different. One big difference, this film does feature a fight on the back of an elephant. You don't get that in the original. And Gina Carano from Haywire and Expendables appears here as a fight promoter. So I'd say this is worth a look if you're a fan of the original like I am and you want to see what they're trying to do. But if you come into this completely cold, it will probably leave you cold. It would have worked far better for me if it was a sequel and if Van Damme had come back as an older Kurt Sloane training a younger fighter, rather than retelling a variation of the original with him in a new role. Van Damme and Moussi get to show off their martial arts prowess in some of the best scenes with the training, and Dave Bautista makes a really good Tong Po. But Van Damme's charisma overload makes the lead actor seem even more wooden than he already is. Yes, Van Damme was never exactly an Oscar-winning actor when he burst onto the scene. He was a martial artist, but his charm got away with a lot, whereas Moussi comes across like a stuntman trying to act. The modern and 80s sensibilities are fused together, which is an interesting choice, but it doesn't really work. And the biggest problem for me here was the script, which is not a match for the witty original. And the audience expectations are so different now than in 1989. I think they were damned either way. If they'd gone with the original script, people would have thought it was cheesy. But by changing it so much, I'd say the charm, the magic of the original film has lost. They've made a sequel, which I've also seen, and a third one is on the way. So these films must be popular. As there are no half bags allowed, I think with a good conscience, I can only give this film one bag. That's despite my morbid fascination with it. And that one bag is mainly for the time that Van Damme is on screen. But as I say, if you've seen the original, it's worth watching just as an exercise to see what they did, and so you're ready to watch the second and third installments. Have you seen Kickboxer Vengeance? If you have, comment below or get in touch with us via email, Facebook or Twitter. All the links are down below too. And don't forget to subscribe and like the channel.